Yeah, there was having cheese in your bottom.
Having cheese in your bottom.
No, but
Welcome to Behind the Sins, presented by CinemaSins.
welcome to Behind the Sins, a weekly look at everything going on inside the world of CinemaSins. I'm Ian Whittington, and this week I'm joined by fellow Bafflegabbers Ian Whittington and Daniel Cardoso.
Hello.
We write for CinemaSins and TV Sins and do various other things inside the CinemaSins universe as well. Look, I read what's in front of me. Like,
Just wait until you find the other fun stuff I put in there.
I'm excited. It is great to be back. Great to be hanging out on BTS. Missed you guys. You guys, as far as I know, did a great job. I did not listen to the episode, so...
Oh, ouch. That explains so much. That explains why we're still talking.
Right, yeah. I did see a comment, by the way. Maybe we'll get to this in the comment section, because I do want a little bit of clarification. But I'm sure you guys did amazing. Let's get into it, guys. Let's go to the SinSide Scoop.
What's he building in there?
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
This is a true story.
We're going to take a look at the videos from the week, the process of sending them, and how we felt about the stuff we are sending in general. Kicking it off in Commercial Sins World with Brawny Terra Square. This was a Danae Hughes script about the Brawny paper towels and the amazing idea that you could make them smaller.
Amazing. And we couldn't do this already. I didn't. Yeah, fascinating.
It is fascinating. It is wild. Daniel, kick us off. What are some of your thoughts on Brawny paper towels in general, or this Sins video specifically?
Well, I know that they are, in fact, paper towel.
Well,
It's a product.
I didn't get that from the commercial.
Where I think it's made from trees. I'm pretty sure that it's like they mush the trees up in like a pot of like hot water, and then they
like a pulp almost.
Like a soup or a stew, and they make it flat with like a rolling pin, and it's just like one guy just like rolling this wooden rolling pin across this pulp.
Yeah.
You should really branch out into other things.
Yes, and then they dry it, and then they put it on like a cardboard roll, I think, and then they just sell it to you.
Yeah, I think you got all that correct. I think all of that is absolutely 100%. Ian, I want to let you know
right.
I did catch your pun. I decided to leave it alone. All right,
Good.
I didn't necessarily want to bring too much.
You didn't want it to take root.
No. We really need to truncate this conversation. So specifically, anything else you wanted to say?
And now that everyone has left the podcast, I mean, paper towel. How does it work? The video was good. Was probably one of my favorites that I've seen in a while. There's a lot of things that made me laugh really hard.
It's really funny.
I recommend that people go watch it. I don't even really want to kind of say some of the jokes just because they were so funny. You should experience them for the first time watching the video.
Wow, a Sins video is so good. Daniel doesn't want to spoil it. I agree. It's really, really funny. Ian will spoil it though.
I will completely spoil it unless Daniel has any that he wants to actually pull out, because I'm just going to go and say all of my favorites.
Fine. I should ruin all my work. Okay. The one I wanted to point out was it just goes, the visuals, it's showing there's a chart on the paper towel that shows you how to tear the different squares in different sizes. And the sin is, yes, thank you for this chart that shows me the various ways one can tear off squares to make smaller or larger sheets. I was so confused about how tearing along perforations worked until now. I love the delivery on that one. I think that it's perfect, and it highlights just how uninteresting this product is.
It also highlights this thing that companies do, where they just treat their customers as dumb. It's just, and it's throughout. And I get it. Some of us do, need to know how perforation works, apparently. But it's always annoying when companies talk down. I always messes with my brain. I always hate it. Ian, some thoughts from you?
Oh, it's annoying when they invent things that don't need to be invented. Like that was my favorite thing from you. You guys have a version of Dragon's Den, don't you? Is it Shark Tank?
Oh, sure, yeah. Shark Tank is a show where they have like inventors come
They pitch
in,
inventions and try to get investment. We call it Dragon's Den over here. And my favorite like put down from the dragons is always, you have managed to invent a solution to a problem no one has.
Mhm.
Like, and this is exactly what this is. Like, someone's very pleased that they added additional perforations when we were all quite fine tearing it. Bounty in England isn't called Bounty anymore. Is it still called Bounty in America?
Mhm. I believe so.
Oh, we call it.
I
it's
mean,
called
I'm
Plenty.
not studying like the journals of paper towel.
Yeah, are you
Yeah.
not? You're not up to
No.
date with that
No.
peer review?
Mm-mm.
No, well, we call it Plenty now, and it has like a Mask of Zorro kind of mascot, and called Juan, because Juan Sheet does plenty.
Wow.
And yeah, we need to do that commercial.
Wow. UK.
Uh-huh.
What is going
not good.
on?
Not good. But this, I totally agree, Daniel. This is one of the funniest ones I think I've ever seen. It's so funny. It has Danae's rage slapped all over it. Just the building not being suitable for the giant.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the observation that the guitar is big but not big enough is
It's
so
my
good.
it's my favorite observation in the video.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like that is a giant guitar, but somehow not giant enough for him. So where did he get it from?
And
Because
why?
he can't, not even as a ukulele, he can't use that. So where is it? It's so
Yeah.
good. Such a great observation. And I just remember the slogan in general just being really, really dumb. Like, what is it? Stay giant, when the whole point of the product is to be smaller and like to not be wasteful.
Yeah.
It's what a bizarre commercial. But yeah, so funny. I echo what Daniel said. Go watch it. It's very good.
Yeah, definitely watch it. And the chat is keeping us honest. We're not talking about Bounty. We are talking about Brawny. Those are two different paper towel companies.
Yes.
So which one?
Thank you for speaking down to our customers, Aaron.
Which one? No, I was acknowledging the chat. Because you had mentioned Bounty. Is it Bounty or Brawny that changed to the incredibly racist paper towel company?
So Bounty, because Bounty is mentioned in this commercial. So
as like
the Bounty role gets replaced by Brawny. Usually you can't mention by name. I know you can't in England.
You
But
can. There are certain rules as to what you can say about them before it becomes libel. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So you just have to be careful what you can say. You can mention real products.
Slander, because libel is
It's
written,
written.
Aaron.
Correct.
Slander
Well,
is spoken.
If it's written on the screen, would it be libel? I don't know.
Then it would be libel, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Because it's written.
there are some really interesting rules to what advertisers can and cannot say. The one that blew my mind that I just always hold on to is the fact that they can say that their product is best, but they cannot say that it's better, which is a really interesting distinction.
Yes.
So anyhow, that's always interesting stuff. I love this too. Highly agree. Go watch it. The only other one that wasn't mentioned so far was, maybe use a plate for your nachos. Seems like
Who's doing that? Who's using a paper towel for nachos? Nobody's doing
because
that.
how are you even heating up the cheese? Like it didn't start on a paper. Anyways, yeah. So maybe use a plate for your nachos. All right, let's move on to TV sins. Hey guys, we're doing season 8 of Game of Thrones. Well, at least the first episode, as far as you know. So yeah, Game of Thrones Winterfell. Danae and I writing on this one. This was a Dicer Hughes script. This has been probably, since the start of the channel, the most requested thing we've seen is, can you please send season 8 of Game of Thrones, because it's this beloved show that really fell apart in its final season, according to a lot of people.
It's the perfect thing for us to take up,
Right.
because it can be brilliant, but it was not.
So we're wading in to the Winterfell waters, and it was interesting. It's interesting going back to this show and kind of re-experiencing it 3 years later, by the way. Is it crazy that the Game of Thrones...
Well, it's only technically 1 year.
Yeah, right? Yes. After what we've been through.
Yeah.
I did see, I think it was somebody in the comments referred to it being 2 years ago, and somebody was like, nope, it was 3 years ago. Sorry about that void year that we all have or whatever.
Sorry about the blip that happened.
That's what somebody said in the comments, and I was like, yeah, that kind of is our modern blip. Is
it almost makes me wonder if Disney and Marvel manufactured the pandemic to line up with the damn blip to give them some time to make up Phase 5. Seriously.
Oh, no.
Right,
Somebody's going to aggregate that. Somebody's going to aggregate that. Podcast says Disney was behind COVID. That's wild stuff. Anyhow.
We are not the first people that will have said that, by the way.
That's probably true. So, 3 years ago, and kind of going back into it and just being like, oh, yeah, this is really weird. Because once you get to the end of it, you realize the main issue here is that they had too much to do and not enough time to do it. They had to rush through. So the fact that this first episode does nothing is mind-melting. It's mind-melting that they didn't do some actual plot work, like real work in this first. It's not that there's not character work done, but we know these characters already. We don't need more, like, in-depth character work.
If there was ever of all of the shows, like, ever, I have never seen people more willing to do a Game of Thrones rewatch ahead of a new season. It was happening every single year. It's like, I'm going to watch seasons 1 to 4 to watch 5. I'll do 1 to 6 to watch 7. And it just further explains why Previously Ons are so freaking pointless, because this episode 1 is a Previously On.
It
because
really is.
A Previously On isn't good enough when you actually need one, but this show didn't need one because we're all rewatching it, we've all binged it. It's, what a waste.
Yeah, and it really is obvious watching this first episode. I enjoyed winking at the idea that Bran would be king eventually. That was fun.
King Life cereal.
Yes, exactly. Shout out to I think Ian added this one. Shout out to Ian for adding jump mares. I thought that was really funny. As the reviewer,
it comes out of nowhere. Like, there's nothing in that moment that requires a jump mare scare.
It's one of my. It is one of my favorite things that our reviewers get to do every once in a while. Is just kind of throw a couple sins in, or adapt some things. So that's fun. And then the other thing I wanted to mention before you guys talk about it is your reaction, Ian, to the King of the North.
It's my top note. Yeah.
Oh,
my
is it? It was so interesting during the review process because Danae and I both thought this was hilarious. And then when reviewing, you're like, I don't get it, guys. Like, they're saying North. And it's like, well, it's an accent thing, right? Like, it's like, to you, it sounds completely normal. And, us Americans are over here going, why do they keep saying North?
So it's really interesting because, like, his accent is extremely thick, and there are plenty of ways that the North and the South take the piss out of each other constantly. Like, the difference between, like, they'll say grass and we'll say grass, glass, glass, bath. But North is fine. Like, we don't argue about North. So I was like, North? He's not saying North, he's saying North, but he's saying it in a northern accent. He's saying North. Like, there's not King of the North. Like, it's not North. So I left the comment. I was like, I'm not even trying to be funny here, guys. I don't think this joke works.
I don't think this is objectively true.
And my note in my show prep is just, I vehemently disagree with this scene.
As opposed to vehemently.
Yes, exactly. And I was like searching through the comments, just like, someone's got to agree with me. One of you, hundreds of people.
Did you find one?
Agree. No, I didn't find anyone.
Of course you didn't.
That doesn't make me wrong.
No, it absolutely does not. Go ahead, continue, Ian. What are some of your other thoughts?
That's it. I'm done. No, the other thing in the process was we had an excessive conversation about side boob, and this video went through so much, like probably 2 more versions than it needed to, because we wanted to keep the sin, but the footage required side boob, and it had to be just done in enough, not at all, but it's so close. It's on the edge.
I don't think there's nipple at all in that shot, but we're trying to be so careful. And so it's a weird thing where, like, when you over blur, sometimes you can get accused of being, prudish or even sexist. You can even be accused of being sexist sometimes. So it's this weird line we're trying to draw where we're like, look, we don't care if you see side boob, but YouTube might care if they see side boob and they don't want advertisers to advertise. You know what I mean? So it becomes this weird.
YouTube would rather nobody saw this video than somebody see side boob.
Right. Yeah. So it's a
it
weird,
was just interesting
weird
trying to
conversation.
find the line on where side boob should be.
Yeah. The answer clearly is the side. Just in case, that is where technically it should be.
That there is a clear line there, clear definition. I love pointing out the geography was different between Winterfell on the opening credits and Winterfell in real life, and just it is absolutely saved by. And where's the big Winterfell letters that are outside as well? Because for anybody that wasn't getting the joke, it's like, okay, he's being pedantic. We know because it's until that point, it is borderline. Is he really like? It's a Lego thing. Like, is he really being that pedantic? But yeah, it's beautiful. And yeah, my only other thoughts are I am. We may or may not be sinning the rest of this season, and I may or may not have had my worst writing experience ever on an upcoming episode.
It was a little tease for an upcoming BTS
for something that may or may not
happen. Or may not happen. Yes.
Yep. They had too much to do, and it is such a shame because one of the comments said the directors obviously almost immediately jumped from this into Star Wars, and it does feel like everyone was kind of done. They all wanted to be out, and I totally like all sympathy to the actors and everyone if they are done with playing the same characters, done with that pressure, fine. But it is still a shame that this was probably a season or 2 or 10 episodes shy of where it needed to be to wrap everything up.
And possible greatness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like an all-time series.
Yeah.
And you have to ask, like, where was even outside of like the showrunners, like you would imagine that there'd be more people around to protect this investment that they've that the HBO had put so much time and money into.
I've got to think that they made the money. Like they have, like the longer you do there's a reason that TV shows run 7, 8, 9 seasons and that's it. They get exponentially more expensive to do as they progress because
a lot of it has to do with the actors.
Actors get more per episode. Like Friends would still be running now if it didn't cost $1 million per episode to keep each actor on. So there is a point where the return on investment just isn't there as well, which is a shame.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
Daniel, some of your stuff.
I barely remember this episode from like my original watch. I did.
There's a reason for that.
There's your sin. Yeah, you're forgiven.
I watched it that one time and like didn't feel the need to go back to it. So I mean, I guess that's pretty much. I think everyone kind of agrees on the episode and the season in that respect. I am going to gripe a little bit and just say that I got this whole season got really tired of the whole. It's basically like 3 questions. I think it's like, who can I trust? Should I trust this person? Do I trust you? And then someone's like, oh, I do trust you.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, I shouldn't have trusted you. And like that's pretty much. Oh, like that's all that happens plot wise.
The chess pieces are just moved to where they need to be, and that's it.
So I'm just going to jump into some of the sins that I liked. The lead-in was, "We named you King in the North," and the crowd exclaims. And the sin is, you know that beer commercial where someone would start a "What's up" chain. It was so frustrating because you'd be sitting at dinner and someone would whisper "What's up," and you'd reflexively jut your tongue out and spout out "What's up" like a fucking caveman. I'm saying that chanting King of the North is the Game of Thrones version of the viral audio STD chant, and I hate it.
So
especially when said incorrectly.
Exactly. No. See, I'm glad you agree.
That one was fun. And then this one here is his lead-in is, "What do dragons eat anyway?" And the next line is, "Whatever they want." And the sin is, this is literally one of the oldest jokes in the book. I mean, sure, it was originally about where a 500-pound gorilla sleeps, but the punchline was the same. My point is that this joke flew in from the distant past, and boy, are its arms tired.
I love it. Such a great turn.
Just as like, anytime you could just be unabashedly corny like that is always fun.
And it works.
Yeah. Very nice. Methinks you may hear more about the Game of Groans in the future. We will move on to Invincible. We need to talk the penultimate episode of the first season of Invincible. You two wrote on this one, Cardoso Whittington script. Daniel, why don't you keep going? What are some of your thoughts on this penultimate episode in writing this Sins video?
Oh, my initial question is, how do you use like penultimate in terms of, because this isn't the last episode of the show.
The penultimate episode is the episode before the last. So when something is penultimate, it's the one before the last one. If something is anti-penultimate, I think that's the word. It's the second to the last. So yes, that is
Okay. It's just one of those words that I guess I've just been using wrong for my entire life. So thank you for enlightening me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being open to enlightenment.
Oh man, people must be so confused when like you're talking about the penultimate episode, but it's actually the finale, and they're just like, no, that was it. Like that was. There's no more left.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I feel like sometimes people don't actually correct you on something if you like use it wrong, because they're like, wait, have I been using it wrong?
Yes.
So then, you look like an asshole, and someone else feels like maybe they've been an asshole in the past, but in the end, no one learns anything.
It's nonplussed all over again.
Oh man.
But yes, penultimate I think is more clearly understood than nonplussed usually.
It's the sort of thing that happens 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year, 365 days.
We will talk about that at some point, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, we may have to talk about that before that script comes around, because
7, 12, 365.
Yeah. Anyhow,
I have no idea what they're talking about. Everyone else.
That's just Ian throwing an inside joke out there. I guess if you follow my Twitter feed, you have some semblance of the idea of what that conversation is about. But continue on, Daniel. Invincible
continues to be a good show. The only thing I didn't like about this episode was that parts of it did get a bit soap opera-like. And we sinned that accordingly, I think. It was really awesome to see Cecil finally unleash all his various projects that he's been working on in an attempt to basically kill Omni-Man. So like I gave you everything that you were kind of looking forward to at the end of the show, like heading into the final episode. I'm also glad that, spoiler alert here, I'm glad that the immortal did turn out to be somewhat immortal. That was
yes.
Some people hated that. I was like, oh, good, because I felt like it was stupid to call him immortal and then he's killed. And I didn't think this show would do that to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
The let's see, the sins that I liked. Debbie and Omni-Man and Nolan are arguing over some stuff that's just been uncovered, and it got really soapy. So the sin is also, this show is beginning to soap opera so hard that I'm having flashbacks of my grandmother yelling, "Don't you dare trust him" at the TV screen while stress eating Werther's Originals. I enjoyed that one. I think I kind of wrote the base for it, and then Ian did some edits that made it much better.
Did Ian add the Werthers?
That's the only thing. That was all you. I just added the Werther's Original.
I knew the Werthers came from Ian because he's poked fun at my love of Werthers before. And all I have to say is I liked Werthers in my 20s. I liked Werthers in my 30s. I'm just aging into my like of Werthers.
Yes, that's exactly my point, is that you are now appropriately aged to enjoy them. I will mock you no longer.
I appreciate it.
Nice. That sin was that's just a true story. Like, that's just something that I remember from my childhood, was my grandmother yelling that at the screen. And
amazing.
So like that's my experience with soap operas. The whole conversation in the car between William and Mark, and like William is doing a bunch of theatrical things with his cheeseburger, which I didn't really appreciate. So I just send it as one cheeseburger was harmed in the making of the simile.
Yeah, that's fun stuff. Ian, what about you?
So this is a great popcorn episode. Like, there's some bits of this that are just so fun to watch. If you're in the finale of an action film and you get to see Nolan zapped by a frigging awesome sky satellite laser. He blows up a ton of shit. Like, it's always fun to see the person that's been hiding their true nature just go full evil and just, yep, the secret's out. I'm just going to go and F some stuff up. But then there's a ton of bits around it that just don't do it for me. The whole Rudy clone, Blue Man Smurf group thing, storyline just felt, this doesn't need to be in this episode. This is either something you save for next season or you do sooner. It felt so strange to culminate that at the same time.
Mhm.
And then I couldn't have any less interest in what's going on with Mark and Adam Eve. Just that situation, I could not care less about what these two are doing right now. It's just not interesting to me. So I just kept tuning back into the Omni-Man stuff, which is the least logical stuff as well, because like Cecil's plan here is bizarre. Like, if this massive monster, in fact, if pretty much any of these measures work in killing Omni-Man, he's in more trouble than he was if Omni-Man is still alive, because unless it's the super people that he can control that are taking down Omni-Man, like, he now has a bigger problem to deal with. Like, send them in and then do the last resort. So it just, the overall plan falls apart, but it is a beautiful episode to watch. It is so, the animation is so great. It's so much fun. I have to admit that the percussive adjustment joke was stolen from Aaron. However, when they're talking about fixing, like, all he does is like wire two wires back together, and suddenly it can remap Rudy's brain and work to clone his very different brain. And it's just as useful as a percussive adjustment. And I stole that from Aaron. However, because Aaron is the voice that is delivering the joke, I feel like I'm not actually stealing it. I feel like because you deliver all of the jokes, you've actually stolen thousands of our jokes because they're coming out of your voice.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Listen, jokes, in my opinion, jokes are free. Steal what you want. Like, what was funny was I was like, percussive because I usually say percussive maintenance. That's what I usually say. Like, you're going to do some percussive maintenance and then you hit something or whatever.
And I couldn't remember exactly. I knew adjustment wasn't right, but I wasn't going to message you. It's like, hey, I'm stealing one of your things.
Steal away.
Word for word.
Freely given.
How does this work?
Freely given.
Amazing. I love the laziness / balls of Lorem Ipsum. Like, I want to talk to the person that did that, because like, having squiggly lines is somehow more acceptable for text than copy and pasting the entire of Lorem Ipsum into that computer display.
We now, thanks to the comments, we now know why they did that.
Yes,
which we may talk about later. I don't know, but
slap on the wrist, possibly. And I did just love the Where's Waldo title card in the outtakes with the splashes of blood that go onto the Where's Waldo title card. So great.
Yeah,
loved it.
It's good stuff. I enjoyed this quite a bit, guys. Really well done. This final run of episodes is where I was like, oh, I actually really like this show. I think I've talked before about how I was kind of tired with, oh, I get it. Now we're doing superheroes, but adult. And so this show was just going to be, another The Boys, or, there were a couple other examples.
Boys is incredible. Stop it. I'm binging it hard right now, and it's so good.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Good.
What I said was, because The Boys is so incredible, or these others, have been good, it's like, do we need another one that's like, hey, it's superheroes?
Okay.
But where this show got me was story. It really has an interesting, compelling story, and I think that really starts to show here in the last 2 to 3 episodes. Some of the stuff I really laughed at, I just based on opinions of TV Sins guy, made me laugh in the cut card when we threw that up there. That was funny. The skippable card, which continues to be a really fun gag.
Oh, and we added more skips as if it was more blood.
As if it was more blood. Yeah, I enjoyed that. In all the cheeseburger opinions, shout out to food opinions. Man. Gotta love those. And in this case, they're all 100% correct, which I love. It's just like, now there is an argument for having the cheese on the bottom. Like, I've actually heard foodies talk about putting the cheese on the bottom because of the way your tongue interacts with the bite of food. I don't care. Cheese goes on top of the burger. Like, there are just some things that because then it melts. Then it melts down, right? Like onto the rest.
It covers everything.
Covers everything. Yeah, exactly.
But if it goes above the salad, it's not hot enough to melt. So that's the perfect place.
Yeah. Lettuce.
There were actually 2
lettuce, but
lettuce. Yes. What did I say?
Salad. But yeah.
Yeah, well, you put salad in it.
Salad is a bowl of like lettuce and other things.
Agree to disagree. There were
actually it's not even lettuce. Sometimes it's like tuna fish or like chicken.
Yeah.
Or potatoes.
That's true. There actually there were 2 Burger Sins that we cut from that run as well.
Oh,
there
really?
Were more. Yes.
I want to know them. Can I know them? See if you can find them. I'm going to keep talking about this a little bit.
Going.
But yes, the idea of the cheese on the bottom is arguable, but I agree. It should be on the top just so it melts down, if nothing else. The fact that after it's split, he's eating the cheese bun part instead of the part with the burger is insane.
Why would you do that?
To me? Like, what are we doing here? And then the idea of not eating any more than a single bite was also, I mean, it's a sandwich. It's a sandwich for a reason. It fits in your hand really nicely. Just whatever you need to do, just take it along and eat your burger. So I wanted the person for the cheeseburger opinions just to know I appreciate it.
And to get to the just Mark just leaving his food there, I guess the question would be: have the two of you ever been so heartbroken that you would have left all your food just sitting in place?
Nope.
Because I feel like that would be somehow worse.
Opposite.
Like if I was feeling bad, I would, and then I were to then also be feeling bad and hungry, then I think I would be feeling worse.
Opposite. I not only eat all of my food, I order more. Like I stress eat. Like that is, this is to my detriment. But no, absolutely, I'm not leaving my food. So
I think that was one of the ones that we actually cut, was that we didn't even, not even taking a bite of it or just leaving it in its entirety.
that was in the script.
Yeah. Oh, was that in the script?
Yeah, that part was just eating a bite and leaving was actually in the script. So yeah, there was having cheese in your bottom, and then
having cheese in your bottom.
Nobody,
yes.
nobody wants bottom
no
cheese.
judgment here.
Nobody wants cheese in their bottom. Let's move on to CinemaSins and finally start talking about cinema excellence with a movie called Moonfall. It's nice to get to talk every once in a while about an incredible film, a film that really shows what can be done with cinema when you really put some effort into it. This was a Watkins-Whittington script, Ian and Jonathan writing on this one. So Ian, tell us about how amazing Moonfall is.
Guys, I'm having a rough time with my script assignments, I'll be honest. I can't tell you some that are coming up, but I'm having a bad run of movies that I have no enjoyment watching at all, which makes them fantastic to sin. But there is still a point when you have to watch a terrible movie 3 or 4 times that it just rips your soul out of your asshole. It is such a bad movie.
Does that make it your ass soul?
Ass-soulless? Yeah,
something
I am now ass-soulless. It's one of the few movies where, like, the trailer will tell you absolutely everything you need to know about the movie and everything you need to feel about the movie as well. Like, however you feel about the trailer will be how you feel about the movie. If you think, that looks awesome, that looks like a fun ride, good on you. You'll probably feel the same about the movie. But this is terrible. Like, disaster movies can be good. It's proven. Like, we have some in the bank that have been made. This just goes 5 steps beyond ridiculous. Between this and some Game of Thrones stuff, it has ruined poor Sam for me entirely. Like the scene where he was just asked to be loud and British is absolutely spot on. It's just be outrageous. The conspiracy theory, pseudoscience stuff wound me up.
Especially because it ends up being true.
Because it ends up being true, and right. Let's get into that then. There is no way that is a white dwarf. It isn't. Like there was more to that. The sin that says about the gravity and how it would rip everything apart. I had to trim that down by like 70% because I put so much research into that. It started off with like stars. The smallest, like, sustainable star that we know of is 10% the size of the sun, which is still, like, hundreds of times the size of Earth. So it would be far, far too big. And then I had to abandon that because I was like, well, white dwarfs could technically work as well. And they call it a white dwarf. But for that to work, it could be that size, but it would rip the Earth apart immediately. There's no way it's doing what they need it to do inside. So none of this premise works at all. Not even a tiny little bit of it. And I just need something. I need something to grab onto if I'm going to enjoy a movie.
Movie doesn't care.
Mass Effect.
Or you're going to test... they contain it somehow, though. They have some funky force field thing, I think, that contains the...
I think it's just a magical element that allows
Yes.
them to manipulate matter
Give me the magic element then. Like, they are flying next to this thing, and guess what? The technology that we need to defeat it, made in 1971. Like, really? It's an EM pulse thing. Like, and that's what's gonna destroy the AI? Like, there's nothing. This is the most overcomplicated story, and I just have no investment in anybody or anything that's going on. I'm just very angry with this movie. If you haven't,
the movie just doesn't care. It just doesn't care.
It doesn't, and it should. It really should. It can be ridiculous and still care, and that will get me more invested. But the only sins I'll mention is that I absolutely loved that Elon Musk burns in here, and that, like, what would Elon do? I don't think buying it is the answer. And I almost cut this, but I'm glad I kept it in, and that this movie sucks Elon Musk's dick so hard it will be too sore to fuck Twitter. And I was like, maybe in 10 years that won't play as well, but it's so true. Like, Elon gets so many name drops in this movie. It's it's unreal. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Oh, I feel so much better.
Good. I'm glad you got that off your chest. Daniel, what about you? Some of your thoughts?
I was just giving you a hard time with that whole Mass Effect.
No, I think you're right. They use something similar.
It would be an out for the movie. I haven't even seen this movie. So it would be an out, but I don't think.
Do not watch,
based upon this, that even that would have really helped too much. But so yeah, I haven't seen the movie. I wanted to watch it, and even after not hearing anything good about it, I still kind of have plans to watch it at some point. But it's gone way down into the lower regions of my priority list.
That's exactly why I nearly saw it in theaters as well. But it's not bad enough or cheesy enough to be entertaining in that respect. Like, there's no like real super cheesy self-aware one-liners. It doesn't have that to latch onto either. It is in some areas deadly serious, and I think trying to make an actual this could happen kind of plot.
If you want to watch something ridiculous that you're also going to actually love, watch RRR. You know what I mean? Like, there are
100%.
There are movies
100%.
out there that understand and are self-aware enough to know, like, we're being on a physics level absolutely nonsensical here, but we're doing it with a purpose, and we're having fun, and you're going to have fun too. So yeah, there's other stuff out there,
and that's perfect. That movie, based upon what I've heard, is now at the top of my list of things to watch.
There you go.
Please do it. I want to watch it again.
I've seen all 3 hours of it twice now. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, as much as I think we should probably get back to Moonfall. I'm sorry.
Let's do Triple R. Let's do it.
This is now a Triple R podcast. So in terms of the Sins video, I'd like to say first that I really enjoyed the burn after reading outtake. I'm not sure who came up with
the very, very final outtake.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's great. And then the sin is we wouldn't dare play the music, but currently the song Toto by Africa can be heard, and the sin, as always, is Weezer. And that one was near and dear to my heart, just because I'd seen Toto in a concert like not that long before the whole Weezer cover thing, and I was just like, I mean, everyone has their opinion, but I was just like, this just feels like a not as good version of a song you can still see played live, and like the world kind of lost itself for this Weezer cover of Toto by Africa, and I just didn't understand it. Maybe I'm missing something, but I still like your music, Weezer, but I don't like your cover of that song.
It's mildly it's mildly unfair, because many bands and many people have covered Africa, but for some reason, like, Weezer is the go-to. Yeah, why did you do that, dickheads? Like, why did you ruin this song that so many people have also ruined?
No, it was the response to it. Like, it wasn't even so much on them. It was the response because of all the people that then like discovered the song and like became kind of obsessed with it for like a moment in time. I think that's not really a fair criticism. I'm aware of that, but it's
weird.
It's how I feel.
Yeah, we're not into fair criticisms here anyway, so you're safe.
Perfect. And I also had the Elon Musk's in there the Twitter one. I love that one. Yeah, this guy has been washed up for a decade, can't make it to public appearances on time, and has eviction notices piling up. But we're supposed to believe he also has fresh ginger in his kitchen.
That one slayed me. I read that one too. That one slayed me.
But because it's true, you look at that man's kitchen. He doesn't have ginger. He doesn't know what to do with ginger. He doesn't know how to prepare ginger. It's just the set dressers, for some reason, have an awesome job. So rarely think about the character they're set dressing for. So strange.
I thought we were reviewing the episode of Gilligan's Island where Gilligan goes on a date with Ginger there for a second. He doesn't know what to do with Ginger. He doesn't understand Ginger. I will also say Moonfall is terrible. I don't need to spend too much time reiterating things that Ian has already said, other than it's not terrible in a way that makes it fun, which I think you already said as well. And again, the movie it doesn't care. This script cares not to even wink at physics. Like, it's just like, I am prioritizing spectacle. I am prioritizing point A to point B for my characters. I have places I need to go and get to. I want to see this happen. I don't care what reality is. So, okay, fine. If you can sit through a movie like that and not get distracted by how much nonsense it is, then have fun. I seriously have fun. But that definitely was not me. I wanted to mention, if we're going by karaoke rules, then someone needs to re-release Robert Palmer's "Addicted to Love" with the actual lyrics as I sing them. You know you're gonna have to face it. You're a dick with a glove. I feel like there might be an actual story there, but if not, that's beautiful. Misunderstood lyrics is one of my favorite things.
It's so great. There are some golden ones.
Did you just think the song was about Michael Jackson, or like what is the what?
No, so when this was from high school, and for some reason I cannot remember why, but the person sat next to me was singing the song, and I knew it because my parents used to play tons of 80s songs. And he just started going, "Gonna face it, you're a dick with a..." And I just went, one of us is wrong. And I don't know, I'm not convinced it's me.
Yeah, my friend, I remember hearing my friend singing "Sitting on Top of a Babe," and just going, nope, those aren't the lyrics.
No.
That's not how it goes.
That's not it.
So anyways, I love that kind of stuff. You mentioned the ginger, which was great. Love the shout out to Joel Hodgson and Jonah Ray, by the way. Great shout out to whoever did the MST3K sin.
That was the Watkins.
Lots of people would have left Jonah Ray off that, and I'm glad that we threw him on there, because I think the new one, even though it's not the old one that we know and love, is still really funny, and he's a funny dude. So enjoyed hearing that shout out. Using my skull as a popcorn bucket is just a phrase that is beautiful and wonderful, and I love. And then, of course, mentioning Edna Mode, future proof that every universe needs, further proof, I should say, that every universe needs an Edna Mode. Always going to make me smile when you bring out an Incredibles, bro.
I think that wasn't that for Invincible? Because he gets his Nolan gets his cape wrapped around his head, and that's how they
right.
bury
I
him
put
in the
wrong
ground.
Place. I put it in the wrong place in my notes. So further proof that that every universe needs Aaron Dicer to make them feel better about themselves. So yes, no, you're absolutely right. I think the rest of those were Moonfall, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, no, they were. Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. You can either edit it into the right place or just keep in the ridiculousness.
No, this is funnier.
All right, let's move on to Sorcerer's Apprentice. This was a Cardoso Dicer script. Daniel and I writing on this one. Daniel, some of your thoughts first on Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Sure. I think that the movie probably it works for its target audience of younger people. I think when it came out. I don't think it works now for anyone. I think the premise was actually really cool. You're just talking about a battle between sorcerers that's been going on for hundreds of years, which sounds awesome. But it didn't really land in any of the really cool places for me. There's not really nearly enough magic, I think, or sorcery done in this movie. It suffers from just being really formulaic, in my opinion. As a young guy discovers he's a descendant of Merlin, and then he goes on an adventure where he goes from being unable to attain his goals and get the girl to being able to do all those things. And I didn't, and it was a pretty long movie to do that. I think I forget what the runtime was, but I feel like it was longer than it needed to be to get all that done. It was an hour 49 minutes, so I guess it wasn't that long, but it felt long.
That's bad, isn't it? When an hour and 50-minute film feels long.
I remember like writing there was just a lot of sins that we had written for this one. That was one of the big things I remember. One of the ones that I really liked was like Nicolas Cage is like or Balthazar is trapped in this urn and is falling out of a window, and like he's trying to escape it, and is just the sin goes, Nicholas escapes his cage and decides to survive this by this working a windowsill grab at terminal velocity instead of doing sorcerer stuff. And like it just there was just like so many layers to that. Like he survives this works, and in the Sorcerer was a movie called The Sorcerer's Apprentice, he didn't use magic to do any of it. Oh yeah. And then there was just one about just like how the protagonist has this very elaborate like lab that apparently is like off the books and like he shouldn't have, but somehow someone has laundered money, I guess. This isn't in any of the story. I'm just assuming this. Like someone at NYU has laundered a bunch of money and funneled it into his experiments so that he has this convenient underground lair to ultimately learn magic in.
Yeah, it's wild.
So yeah, what were your thoughts?
I listen. I don't know what to tell you. I like this movie. I liked it when I first saw it. I still liked it when I sinned it. I get that there's a lot of nonsense here. For me, I just think Baruchel and Cage work together. I just think they're a lot of fun to watch together. And Jay Baruchel, I kind of get him. Like whenever I see him and stuff, I think his delivery is funny. I think it's almost there's almost a Michael J. Foxiness to him in the way he kind of approaches his characters. Like it's, a little passive and understated, and I don't know. I dig it. I think there's some funny things here. I think so much of it is ridiculous, and this kind of gets us into a lot of the sins that we wrote. But so much of this movie is just like, it's not what makes sense here. It's what's a cool magic thing we could do here that would be fun to look at or fun to think about or whatever, instead of characters actually making decisions based on their objectives, right? Like it's not character-based decisions, it's storytelling-based decisions and movie-making-based decisions, which, you're making movies. I get it, but that stuff can be very, very distracting. So yeah, it's just like magic for magic's sake. A lot of the stuff is when it didn't have to be necessarily, and so that can get a little bit weird. Like the mirror dimension rules, like I think is an example of one. Like when the movie needs him to be trapped for a while and have somebody let him out, he has to knock on the mirror. But later, when they're doing the exact same mirror dimension spell, they just have to find a mirror to drive through. Like it's just there's like, so there's not any kind of consistency with any of the rules or anything like that.
I would like to say that I did really enjoy I did enjoy the cast. Like as much as I didn't like the movie at all. Yeah, Jay Baruchel, Nicolas Cage, Alfred Molina. There was a couple other people too, and like I think that they were underused in a lot of ways as well.
A lot of other stuff I wanted to mention. One is I had never until this sinning considered this one of Disney's live action remakes. And just the realization of that, like I got that it was based on that property, and I remember watching and thinking, oh, this is the Sorcerer's Apprentice scene. But now that we live in a world where that's like their whole MO, that's like their whole operating philosophy, you look back at this and you go, yeah, this should be in that category. This should be, when you talk about, this whole process of, what they've done, this should be in that group of films, because it literally is a Disney live action remake of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Now, the main plot has nothing to do with that scene, but they do include the entire scene in here and kind of, retrofit it, to this plot or whatever. But I'd never really thought of it that way. I also wanted to mention that we took a sin off for a nut shot. So don't let anybody ever tell you that CinemaSins doesn't appreciate fine art. So it was a funny nut shot, though. It was a really funny way to do it.
One of my notes. I haven't seen the movie, but I rewatched that part of the Sins video 6 or 7 times because just to work out why am I crying? Why is this so funny? And it's the self-satisfied. Look, this worked, so I'm going to show you how it works,
Yes.
and then it doesn't work.
Yeah. Oh,
It's a great.
I disagree with you guys so much about that. I wrote a very an opposite sin about that because
Yeah.
I was so annoyed with that nut shot. I was so annoyed with it when I saw it on screen. So we'll just have to agree to disagree on that one.
Yes. And guess who was lead on that script?
I think I can tell.
The other thing is shout out to Danae Hughes, who snickered when they said butt servants, and so I wrote it into the script. Just happened to be watching this when she was around, and so the butt servants sin was born. Appreciate that, and I genuinely, no lie, thought that was Cillian Murphy. Genuinely thought that was him. And was genuinely disappointed when it wasn't. So
I thought we were doing the sin where we say discount Cillian Murphy, but it actually is him.
yeah,
Like I'm still convinced it is.
it looks
how is
so
that
much
not
like
him?
it looks so much like him.
Wild.
But yeah, anyhow, Ian, some thoughts.
Yeah, never seen the movie. Remember it coming out. This was in a phase where I was heavily influenced by my dad, who hates Nick Cage with a burning, fiery passion. Like no reason, just despises every movie that he's in. And it wasn't until like I went to uni and stuff that I was like, I'm gonna form my own opinions and stuff. And then I watched Con Air, and I was like, Nicolas Cage is a genius. Why doesn't he win Oscars? Like.
He does win Oscars, Ian. That's the whole
why
thing.
doesn't he win more Oscars?
Yeah.
But I never came back to watch this movie. The Merlin story, for some reason, as much as like I love D&D, Lord of the Rings, magic, spells and shit, I just never like the Merlin story. And I think it's because it's often presented as history, and I'm like, but it isn't.
Right.
It's not. I'm sure there may well have been a Merlin that existed or whatever, but it's so often presented as historical fact that I'm just like, stop it. We have fiction for a reason. So I think I just
presented that way in the United States. I don't think that anyone's confusing Merlin with historical fact.
Oh,
I've never heard that.
Oh, I'm pretty. I mean, maybe it's just England, but yeah, Arthur and stuff. With the sword and whatnot, that's maybe it's just me. It might just be me. Oh no, am I the idiot? It's possible. But yeah, that's why this movie just like never really like kind of grabbed my attention. But the Nutshot kind of makes me want to watch this movie because like I laughed so much. I was like, maybe there's something else in here that I'll enjoy, and Daniel just despairs entirely. But no, you guys made an extremely funny video. What I liked was, I know, right? Smart cheerleaders. What's next? Attractive nerds, kind jocks, funny college stereotype jokes. Just great to turn it on its own head. And then you can just sometimes you can smell Dicer sins from a billion miles
Apologies.
away.
Sorry for that.
So one of the wizards comes out of the pot thing too early, and the narrator takes issue with it and says that the movie can't make its plot and its plot and plot turn. And I was like, well, obviously, like that's Aaron is so happy he wrote that.
I was so giddy. There's something when I fell in
It's great.
I
It's so
appreciate that. If you have ever watched BoJack Horseman, they do a lot of that wordplay stuff, and it's some of my favorite stuff. There'll be really cool alliteration runs they will do. They'll do a lot of those. All these words sound alike. Kind of runs. It's really one of my favorite things. And the first one that really made me fall in love with writing it was Breaking Bad. There's a moment where Skyler gives him a disapproving look because he's lost his erection, I think, at that moment or whatever. And the different ways I was able to use half-mast, Mr., mastered, master. Like, it was just like, it was, and when I was done, like, I spent 20 minutes on this one scene, just finding all these different ways to sound like kind of, and when I was done, I was like, this was my life's like purpose. Like I found my life's
beautiful.
purpose. And so yeah, I love wordplay stuff like that is really fun. So
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I love it. I need to remember to do them more. I don't think I've done a decent one since the Loki defenestration predestination station
yeah,
post
that's a fun
intoxication.
one. That's a fun one. Yeah, absolutely.
I need to pull them back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. That made me laugh a lot. Yeah, David thinks he's good at CinemaSins, but forgets to mention the giant metal bird he flew in on, which is a great merger of the screw you and the horse you rode in on.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved it.
It was a lot of fun. All right, let's move into the comment section.
I appreciate your honesty. You're a real straight shooter.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
We're each going to pick a comment from last week's content in the various places that you reach out: Discord, YouTube, Reddit, etc. Mr. Whittington, why don't you start us off?
So this is from Winterfell and from Paul Newbrew, I think. Season 8 was so bad I can't even bring myself to watch what is most likely a great TV Sins production. My friend, I love my job, but I can't bring myself to write about the TV show. Like, that just reflected so many comments of, I'd finally moved on, and now you're bringing it back up.
Mm-hmm.
I was okay with this being a bad season, and now you're going to dig this back up. Like, you're going to make me revisit this trauma. Like, 3 years later, what are you doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm with you. You only have to watch 7 minutes of this.
Imagine you're a TV Sins writer who's used to having 20 or 40-minute episodes, and now you're dealing with Game of Thrones hour and 20 minutes.
80 minutes of darkness.
That's a nice tease. I cannot wait to maybe get there if we send perhaps that episode. That should be a lot of fun. I guess I can go next. This is first, since I referenced it, I do have to mention in the comments on the podcast channel, somebody mentioned Aaron being extra judgmental about binging shows. What did you guys say about me being judgmental about binging shows? Was that something that happened? But here's the comment. I have to repeat myself because I was too late saying it before. Aaron being extra judgmental about binging shows is completely lame. Saying it's somehow inferior to waiting a week or more for each and every episode shows serious immaturity and closed-minded thinking to the extreme. I'm imagining some of this is sarcastic. I'm doing best case scenario where this person is being sarcastic.
Yeah, I hope so.
But I didn't know if you guys had talked about that and name dropped my binging opinions.
No,
that's interesting.
Didn't. To my knowledge, we didn't mention it last week, but it was either the week before on BTS or Captain's Pod. You did mention that you think this is how you enjoy TV shows, but it isn't because it's all sugar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You said something along those
Right, you
lines
have to
of you
dish it
might
out,
think
yeah.
that you enjoy doing all 10 episodes at once,
Yeah.
but I promise you don't. I can't remember what show
That is rather
we
judgmental.
were watching.
It is rather condescending when you tell someone they don't like what they think they like.
Yeah, but you think you like this, but I promise you don't. So I imagine that's what inspired that.
Okay.
that comment.
All right. Well, here's what I'm going with from Moonfall. This is from Lucian, who says, with gravity going crazy, the odds of them surviving is literally astronomical. Between the gravitational forces exerted on them and everything around them, plus all the other tiny things that have to go and fall exactly right for them to survive, not the least of which was the exact right speed at their launch and angle of the ramp and a clear and safe place to land, what more needs to be said? And then Dragon Human responds, just the changes of gravity in that area would have liquefied their internal organs while their blood boiled in their veins due to the sudden changes of air pressure long before any debris crashed into them or their vehicle. And then John says, but they're in a Lexus. And that just made me laugh really, 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 really hard. So thank you, John, and all those who led up to that amazing joke. But they're in a Lexus.
Yeah, you think this movie likes Elon Musk? It really likes Lexus as well.
Daniel, what about you?
Mine is also from Moonfall and is from an Illogically Logic. And the comment is, I love the part where the moon says it's falling time, and then everybody started clapping in the cinema.
Yes.
That was funny. That was funny.
Absolutely sums it up.
A reference to the whole Morbin time thing that's
I
been
think
going
it might
around.
be.
But I love that iteration to bring that into
That was beautiful.
to Moonfall about the moon.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, let's move into nitpicking the nitpickers of the nitpickers.
But we wouldn't want to nitpick, right, Danny?
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more.
Actually.
Oops. What do you mean, oops?
Missed it by that much.
Am I just going to nitpick everyone until they leave me?
Ian's going to take a look at some actuallys from the comments, and we'll decide together if the commenter was green, yellow, or red. Where did people think we went wrong this week, Ian?
I'm actually stunned that between Game of Thrones, which has all of the canon behind it and whatnot, Moonfall, which has so much science that we picked apart, there was so little that we got wrong. I was expecting like a litany of comments saying, well, actually, that's not how anything works. But we did okay. But we'll do the Lorem Ipsum one because I missed that they misspell an analysis or analyze or something. Analyze, and that got picked up in the comments a lot. What does that... I've completely missed this. What does that have to do with Lorem Ipsum being used? Are we saying that's deliberate?
Yeah, so the idea... Some of the comments are really funny because the idea is like we are so precisely trying to find stuff in the background that we miss the obvious mistake right in front of our face.
Oh, 100%.
So like, you know, we're back there going, look, they used Lorem Ipsum, and the chat is, or the comments are like, yeah, you see the word analyze there? Did you analyze that, buddy?
I still missed it. Like I can't even picture where analyze is in that shot.
Yeah.
I just zoomed straight in. I was like, that's an L. And honestly, as soon as I saw that L, I was like, that is 100% Lorem Ipsum. And
So some of the people in the chat are arguing that that's the joke, that we're doing it on purpose as a way
I think that's a that's our joke? I thought you meant that's the show's joke.
No, that's our joke, that we were making...
No, it's deliberate.
Oh, sure,
100%.
Yes. That's how we get a bad name.
Totally deliberate. Absolutely.
100%. Yes, 100%.
Totally.
But I found just the fact that the word is analyzed too. That is like
it's perfect.
That is perfect. And here's what we would do. I think for the most part, if we're making that joke, we're going to draw a little bit of attention to it. Like what we've done in the past is like we would say, you know, I can't believe this Lorem Ipsum is back here strange. There's nothing else wrong on the screen, at least when I analyzed it, or something like that. Like we'll draw,
and then we would misspell analyze as well.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So generally, we don't try to be completely subtle when we're making those kind of jokes.
No, because there's no way to prove. If I've left that as is, there's no way to prove that we did see analyze.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
But I did just miss it. I was so smug with the Lorem Ipsum find that I was like, "There's no way there's anything else wrong on this screen."
That's right. Yeah. Good stuff.
What else did we have? There was a little bit of Aaron shade this week in the comments.
Tell me about it.
So this was from the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Okay.
And I think it's probably me and Daniel I think all three of us can weigh in on this about whether you're wrong or not.
Sure.
This reminds me that Jay Baruchel should get more starring roles outside of animated movies. Oh, and Green Book is a great movie. You just don't like happiness, Aaron.
Green Book is a great movie? Okay.
Well,
all right.
Hey, I'm just saying there's some shade being thrown at you guys. Yeah. I still haven't seen it, so I can't judge whether it's a worthy movie of watching or not.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it either.
I have, well, I guess it's just on me then, and this obviously is clearly red.
I see where this is going then.
No, my more textured view on the movie is that it's a crowd pleaser. It is absolutely a crowd pleaser movie. Like there's a bunch of big moments in it, that kind of thing. But when you really start to think about what it's doing, it kind of falls apart in a lot of ways. So yeah, race movies are hard. They're just hard. There's so many different angles to think about. And this one ends up being almost primarily from the perspective of the white character, and yet tries to be about race in America and during that time. And that's a difficult thing to do. So yeah, it's a more nuanced conversation than just Green Book sucks. So yeah.
Well, I think that makes that a green then.
Sure, if you prefer.
It's green, makes it a green book.
It makes it a green book, indeed. Yeah.
I think this is a clear red. I should have noticed this in Moonfall. One of the lines was they're shouting out. Oh, what's his? I'm trying to erase this movie from my mind. What's his name? The main character.
Oh, I don't know the character or the actor.
Oh, I know the actor is Patrick Wilson. Not Patrick Wilson. That's the Terminator. Patrick.
Yeah, it's Patrick Wilson.
No, it is Patrick Wilson.
Who's
the Terminator?
Brian Harper is the name of the character.
There we go. Yeah, so they're shouting out Brian Harper. They're like, how many Brians do you think are inside the moon? And it's a direct, it has to be a rip-off of Jurassic Park when they're screaming her full name and how many Sarahs do you think are in this park or whatever. And we didn't sin it for one of the few funny-ish lines. Isn't even its own.
We gave it an excellent at CinemaSins, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We did the worst thing. We almost had a sin removal for it. So clear red, I apologise. And just one last one for Invincible.
I think it's hilarious that I'm pretty sure that's a clear green. But I think we keep mixing up.
It red. Yeah.
It's so hilarious.
Colloquially, reds are now going to be green for this segment because it's just how they're used. And for Invincible, they should do a whole season's worth of sins rather than individual episodes. And I'm just like, yeah, we should.
Welcome to the channel.
Welcome to the channel.
We'll see if we can do something about that for you.
Let's see if we can work on it. So that's definitely a green. That's on us.
Yeah, it's totally our fault.
Should absolutely
we should think about doing season videos. That's
I don't know why we aren't doing that already.
That's very, very true. All right, let's finish off today with some sin to win.
Boom.
Wait, what do you want to do? You want to play a game?
Please, nobody ever lets me play.
I want to play a game.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Competition is meaningless.
We're going to play a game together to separate the winners from the losers. I get to be in neither category this week because I'm going to be hosting. Daniel and Ian will be competing in a game of 3 sins and a lie this week. So Daniel and Ian, here's how this works. The player is told the movie, so you get the movie, and then 4 sins will be listed. However, one of those sins is not actually a sin from the video. It is a sin completely made up by JCD, who helps provide these game clues for us. So you have to determine which is the fake sin. Notoriously, when we've played this game, we have gotten it wrong, like as wrong as possible every single time. This is amazing.
It's our 4th guess. Like, it is the very last one, I think, on both times.
Correct. So here's how this works. Whoever's turn is first can get 5 points for getting it right on the first guess. It'll then go, if they're wrong, to the next person, who can get 3 points. And then it'll go back for 2 points and then no points. Because it will be known. And then we will go to the next movie where the other person will get to start. So in completely random fashion, Daniel is going to go first.
Is it because I just put a sweet in my mouth?
I just noticed that Ian, during the recording of a podcast, decided to suck on a hard candy. I don't know what's going on here. Like, it's just professionalism to the extent.
Purely tactical. I wanted to go second.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I know that you're more professional than I am.
All right, so Daniel, you are going to go first based on Ian's brilliant gameplay. The movie is The Incredibles. Here are your 4 possible sins from The Incredibles. You need to say which one is not in the video. Number 1, why doesn't he just lay the tree down on the ground? This guy, the guy stops a train later with his bare hands, so he doesn't need the tree. Number 2, I'm pretty sure I would have found out these people's secret identities by now. Number 3, wait, so you're the person who creates everyone's super suits and can make them survive missile strikes and temperatures up to 1,000 degrees Celsius, but you can't cape that can detach if it gets caught in something? Sure, this plays into the villain's downfall, but I think Edna has a thing against capes and just kills anyone that wants one just to make a point. 4, why is it that none of the kids in this family have the same powers as their parents? Those are the 4 sins. Daniel, talk us through your thoughts, and if you want to hear any of them again, you can. I kind of stumbled through that 3rd one, so let me know if you want to hear it again.
Interesting. I'm pretty sure the 3rd one is real. So that could be either a very damning play there. Could I hear the 1st and 2nd one again?
You can. The 1st one, why doesn't he just lay the tree down on the ground? The guy stops a train later with his bare hands, so he doesn't need the tree.
And then the 2nd one?
I'm pretty sure I would have found out these people's secret identities by now.
See, that 2nd one is can be misleading because I feel like it might be playing off of a visual on the screen because it seems almost a little too simple, but I do know that sometimes it's it works with like the flow, and then like the video itself, it's a bit different. So and I get more than one guess at this. I just lose points.
You get one guess, and then it'll go to Ian.
Okay. I'm gonna guess that the first one is fake.
Why doesn't he just lay the tree down on the ground? The guy stops a train later with his bare hands, so he doesn't need the tree. Is actually a Sin in the Incredibles video. That is incorrect. Ian, for 3 points. Let me know if there's any you want to hear.
Nope. I'm confident it's number 3, the one with the cape.
Okay. Number 3. So you're the person who creates everyone's super suits and can make them survive missile strikes and temperatures up to 1,000 degrees Celsius, but you can't make a cape that can detach if it gets caught on something. Sure, this plays into the villain's downfall, but I think Edna has a thing against capes and just kills anyone who wants one just to make a point.
Yeah, it was made up.
That is correct. 3 points for Ian, who has found the fake Sin. The one that Daniel said was for sure in the video.
Kind of set me on the right path.
All right, Ian, you get to start off Forrest Gump.
Let's do it.
The best you can do at this point, Daniel, is tie. And then we'll have to go to a tiebreaker. So let's see. Here we go. Sin number 1. Can we all just agree? By the way, I may do initials for swear words, just so you know. Okay. Or say different ones. Can we all just agree that the fact that Forrest doesn't grow up to be a murderous psycho is a GD miracle? Number 2, earlier the news said LBJ was giving out, LBJ, not a swear word. That's Lyndon Baines Johnson. Just wanted to be clear.
Little bucket jucker.
Earlier the news said LBJ was giving out 4 medals of honor, so why do I count 5 with Gump? Number 3, not one of these prick bastards gave up their seat for the guy with the prosthetic legs, or even walked over there to the left and grabbed one of those black patio chairs for him to sit in. He's got to stand the entire ceremony. And number 4, wait, 2 years? How the ever-living hell has Forrest run for 2 years? Surely ultramarathons are a thing, but the movie wants us to believe he's been running nearly constantly the entire time. Forrest is either a superhuman or he should be dead.
I think number 4 is the fate.
Do you want to talk through your reasoning?
Oh, yeah, that's why that makes this fun. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. If it's just us saying numbers.
Yeah. Oh, man. So the other 3. So Prick Bastard in particular, and this might just undo me, sounds like a specific writer. So I think that's.
So you think 3 is real?
That's a trademark. I think that's
Okay.
a giveaway.
Okay.
The first one is too simple to just be put in as the creative, as the invented sin.
Okay. Okay.
And I think I remember who wrote on this, and they are frame by frame people that would, that's the wrong amount of medals. And then it's kind of a toss up between the other 2. But I think I'm going to go, the last one is the fake.
Okay. Any desire to change your answer?
No.
You want to stick with the 4th one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is
Especially
correct.
now. Yes.
Ian gets the points. So yeah, there you go. 7 zip. Man, Ian.
Boom.
First try on both for you.
If you said a different one, I was going to say number 4.
Yeah. What was it for you? What was it that stood out for you? So JCD can know how to be better at his job next time.
Honestly, after the fake one from the previous question, there was just something about that number 4 that seemed to come from a similar voice.
Interesting.
I can't exactly point it out, but I don't know if it was like it was just the style of the wording, really.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, there you go. Ian with a dominating performance this week.
I'm going to start keeping track of the scores again.
It's amazing. It's amazing how that happens when you're winning. I don't know. It's wild. Guys,
Strange.
To me, it looks like I win every time. Every time I keep track of it, it seems that I win. So there you go. There is Sin to win. That's going to wrap it up for Behind the Sins this week. Don't forget to make sure you're subscribed and go ahead and leave a comment or rating as well. If you've got anything you want to send us, you can do that. You can mail it to P.O. Box 881 Republic, Missouri 65738. You can hang out with us on Twitter. I'm at Aaron Dicer. He's at Wits End.
WHITTSINNED.
And Daniel's the one smart enough not to have a Twitter. So for Ian Whittington, Daniel Cardoso, a bulb of fresh ginger, and myself, we will see you next week.
Happy National Father and Daughter Take a Walk Day.
Thanks for listening. Send any feedback to bts@cinemasins.com, and be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. Find more ways to connect by visiting cinemasins.com/bts.
Happy National Father and Daughter Take a Walk Day.
You just made that up.
I have a list. I do. I have a list here that I remembered for the first
Father
time.
and Daughter Take a Walk Day.
National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day is observed annually on July 7th. This day promotes the benefits of family bonding time between fathers and daughters, as well as the benefits of physical activity, narrowly beating out Macaroni Day.
I thought you were going to say barely beating out other examples of things fathers and daughters might do together and be celebrated for a national holiday.
Yeah.
Nick, I think you were gone when we were praising your BeatStar skills, so I just want you to know there was a long conversation about how amazing you are at BeatStar, so congratulations.
Which I will not be including in the show, because I'm a dick.
Hello, welcome to Behind the Sins. My name's Aaron Dicer, and this is Ian's chair. So, Ian's chair, how does it feel to support Ian on a day-to-day basis? We're joined by Daniel now as we interview Ian's chair. So, how does it feel to support Ian on a day-to-day basis?
It just feels like...
interesting.
Oh, we're talking to the chair.
We're talking to the chair, yes. We're letting the chair. Do you have any questions for Ian's chair?
How does it feel to be constantly having to support him in a literal way?
Yeah. It feels like that would be a burden, right? Like it feels like, and nobody ever checks in. Nobody ever checks in with the chair. It just says, how you doing? How are things going?
I'm going to leave now. You guys have a good show. Bye.
So we're watching a French Bulldog this week, and the French Bulldog likes to chew on stuff. And he's in here with me, and he is eyeing all of my cords. And I am just like...
Get away, buddy.
For your own sake... and the sake of the cords, you probably don't want to chew on any of that stuff.
If you don't get zapped, there will be a fate worse than getting zapped.
This is not my dog. I will treat it very kindly no matter what.
He says on the record.
And if Sarah happens to be listening to this podcast for whatever reason, your dog is lovely. We love having him. There are no problems. It was also funny because my son comes up, We're having lots of dogs through the house because we're doing Rover now. So we're watching other people's dogs when they need us to. And my son goes up and he goes, well, Dad, I now know how to tell when a male dog has been fixed or not. Because male dogs have giant testicles. I was like, well, it may just be the bulldog. I don't know. But yes, this one has not been fixed.
In general, yeah, they can be quite sizable.
He was really surprised by the two giant golf balls hanging out of the backside of this dog's legs. I'm like, well, that's how it works, man. That's how it works.
That is how dogs work. I hate that it's called fixed because it's the opposite.
Right. We fix them so they don't work. Yeah, that's how you fix things. You make them not work. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Just realizing now that I think that dogs, like their whole lives are just like some dystopian future where humans have come to fix them.
Yes,
they were broken before, and now they have been fixed.
Fixed by the humans.
It's for your own good, buddy. It's for your own good.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're going to want to have all sorts of sex, and it's just going to be terrible.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
No.
I should probably send you guys some of my music sometime. I've realized
I would love to hear it.
Yes.
I've thought about connecting. Yes. I've thought about connecting with you. I write a song for each of my sons when they graduate high school, and I've thought about connecting with you about helping me with the musical side of the one. Okay, so here's the real story. You ready for the true story? This is terrible. This is so terrible. Everything you've heard about parents who have multiple children and forget to do things for the last child is true. It's just true. It's just true. Like the more kids you have, the less, the more things you forget you did with the older ones. Anyways.
But you still have time with Ethan. This hasn't passed yet.
No. He'll be a senior this year, but hold on. Let me tell you the full story before you let me off the hook too much. So when each of my sons were born, I wrote them a song for their dedication ceremony. And I sang the song at their dedication. So we have Austin's, Justin's, and Christian's songs, like the background track, my lyrics, like everything. I literally wrote a song for Ethan's dedication, sang it at his dedication and have no record of it anywhere. I don't have the lyrics anywhere. I don't have the music anywhere. I don't remember what it sounded like. So this is the song that I've also sang for their graduation, because it kind of applies in both places as a parent, right? Like when their life begins, you have to release some sort of control of them just to be a good parent. You have to say, okay, it's not, necessarily all about me. I'll do my best. Same with when they graduate, right? It's like, okay, like here's another momentous place where you go do your own thing and I let go, right?
Mm-hmm. Let the world eat you alive and spit you back up. Yeah.
Hopefully, if you've done your job well, you've got a little bit of chew armor there for the world. So I've got a year, and I've been thinking about this for a while now, because we realized this song was missing about 7 years ago. And so I've known that I'm going to write a second song for Ethan, and the song is going to be called "Don't Lose This Song," and it's basically going to the theme is going to be the idea that there are songs I sing to my children as they're growing up, and hopefully in moments where they feel loss or pain or whatever, that they can recall those things that I've said that might help them through those kind of, like, I have little phrases that I tell them and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to include the phrases in the song. I'm not great with the musical side of that. Like when I was doing it when they were dedicated, I had people I was in contact with that, could play guitar, write songs on guitar, play drum, whatever. And I don't have musicians in my life right now. So I was going to connect with you, Daniel, and kind of see, like, could I do like a more modern, kind of thing. But I did want to hear some of your music and just kind of, see how that might work. So
you should hear what I've made first before you.
Yes, of course. That was the plan. That was generally, yes, I was going to drop it in. I was going to drop it in at some point and just be like, hey, Daniel, can I hear some of your music for no particular reason whatsoever? Just curious what kind of music you make. It could be argued my love of lyrics and of writing music is part of the reason I love what I do today with writing for Sins. Like there's a lot of similarity to writing a verse and writing a sin, it's an interesting comparison.
It has a rhythm
and wordplay and thematic stuff. Like it can be, but the stuff I write always ends up being a little too high concept and a little too in itself. It's like
for a song.
Yeah. I mean, you can do that with a song, I guess, but like, I don't know if you've seen Girls 5 Eva. It's probably the best show that nobody is watching. It is Tina Fey's latest show on, is it on Paramount Plus?
Peacock?
Oh, no, Peacock.
Oh, is it?
No, it's Peacock. You're absolutely right. NBC. It's Peacock. So the second season came out. My wife and I are working our way through it, and there is at least one, sometimes two songs in every episode, and they are so funny, but they're all these like high concept, like, by the way, Sarah Bareilles, who's an amazing artist, is one of the girls in Girls 5 Eva. And,
awesome.
And so she's like the songwriter of the group or whatever. The cast is amazing. This show, I'm telling you, it's the best show nobody's watching. But anyway, she wrote a song. She looked for the word that has the most definitions in the English language. That word is set. And then and then she wrote a song that uses every version of the word set.
Oh my goodness, that's insane.
That's the kind of stuff my brain wants to do, and it's so funny.
Speaking of some words, so I found a comment in that I don't really want to read for the comment section, but I wanted you guys to know that it was
the
out
place
there.
for that.
This is it.
I wanted you to know it existed.
Okay.
It was in the Game of Thrones episode 1, and it's just this channel is like the ex-girlfriend with the bomb that keeps coming back in your life. We keep leaving her, but the is so good it lures us back in for suffering.
Oh man, that is the worst compliment ever.
That is what someone feels about TV Sins.
I don't even know the origin of that word. Like, I don't like. Does it come from the same root as like grabbing something? Is it like just like it's just such a weird like?
Yeah, that's
it feels vaguely offensive to me, but I don't know why. It's like, well, we have the internet, so I'm just going to search female genital. That's all I'm going to search for. It should be fine.
Don't do that.
Let's see. Sudden grab. 1570s. Weightlifting, 1928. Earliest recording as a vulgar slang sense of vulva is recorded by 1903.
So it wasn't Shakespeare then?
No.
It wasn't in Hamlet.
A much older venereal sense was sexual intercourse quickly performed. That was in the 1580s.
Now that makes sense, and it evolved from there. I just had a quick...
Thank you, Ian. Thank you for verbalizing it. I appreciate it.
Is a very English one.
That sounds terrible. Why would you ever want your genitals called...
It's specifically female genitals as well. It came from the In-Betweeners. I think that's the earliest I heard it mentioned. Yeah.
Binge watched that show like 4 or 5 years ago, and I really enjoyed every season of In-Betweeners.
I'm really glad you did.
Yeah. I mean, it
what a glorious song. Hey, guys.
That's
welcome.
the best part of my week finished.
Sorry. It's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill until next Friday.
The good news is, your week will start over here again very, very soon. So, actually got to hear that song for the first time in a while in both ears with complete fidelity.
Tell us more. Tell us about the Indiana Jones inspired boulder of earwax that escaped your body.
Daniel, so I don't know if I don't know how much this has been on other episodes of BTS, so I feel like I need to do it publicly because I literally had people reaching out to me being, go see a doctor. This is not something to mess around with. And I basically had to say, yes, I know. I already have a doctor's appointment scheduled. I'm just playing it up for the podcast a little bit.
Screw you people for caring about me.
No, I'm very, very thankful that people care about me. I had basically pushed my earwax in one of my ears, like completely clogged it up in a way that I thought maybe I even injured my eardrum. And so I was dealing with not only basically not being able to hear out of my left ear. I think I put it at about 30%. Hearing out of my left ear. What I'm realizing now is it was maybe at 30%, but it cut out such a huge spectrum of the sound, like like anything over a certain pitch was just gone. So anyways, but I also had like tinnitus nonstop, which isn't painful necessarily. It's just super annoying, right? Like it's one of those things where you just have the ringing nonstop. So
For the English crowd, that's tinnitus.
Oh, tinnitus.
Tinnitus.
Apologies. Tinnitus is...
Tinnitus. That's how you get tinnitus.
Doctor looked in my ears and said, yep, that's earwax. I was like, okay. And so they did a water irrigation, which I've had done before on my ears. My ears have a lot of wax buildup, and every once in a while I just should probably go get this done. But
does it make you dizzy? Doesn't that offset your balance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It wasn't too bad for me. But it was funny because they did the clogged ear first, the left ear. And when the biggest, I'll try not to be too graphic. I know this can be really gross for some people, but I'll just say the biggest chunk. When the biggest chunk came out of my left eye, that was too much. Chunk is too. What kind of word? No. When the biggest
sediment.
When the largest section of the blockage was removed, it was miraculous. My world opened up. It had been probably 2 to 3 weeks since I'd only been hearing out of one side of my head, and it was like, oh, this I remember now what the world sounds like in stereo. And
is it a bit emotional, genuinely? Getting a sense
it genuinely
back.
was. Yeah. Like there was this relief of pressure. The tinnitus stopped. The tinnitus stopped immediately. So it was glorious, beautiful, and everything sounded higher pitched because I was hearing that entire range. Like when I was listening to the song, this opening song that we just played, I was hearing like all that stuff going on the upper end that I hadn't heard in a while in the stereo of it. It was so fun. So then they go to do the right ear because there's a ton of wax in there too, even though it's not blocked off, and immediately block off the right ear. Like immediately upon starting to do the irrigation, everything shuts down in the right ear. And I'm just like, no, please tell me I'm not walking out of here with my situation reversed. And it was literally blocked for another 2 minutes before she could get the major blockage out of that one. But the 2 major blockages were marble-sized, my friends, marble-sized in my ear. So I just
everything on you, big Aaron.
Well, Daniel.
Before we get into the show, I have a quick correction to make from last week.
Yeah, do it.
So, Jace, we were talking about, and I'm glad you're here, Daniel. We were talking about the Discord names and how people change their names depending on the month based on a Sins team member.
Yeah.
And June was for Daniel. And I was throwing some shade at JCD's unimaginative attempt. And I said, Josh, to begin with, and then said JCD. And I just wanted to say, Josh, your attempt was just as unimaginative. It's not just JCD. So I just want to correct myself that yours is equally as unimpressive as JCD's. And I'm pretty sure that's what Josh meant when he called me out on the mistake. I'm
sure
pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is Daniel month on the Discord right now. So lots of Cardosos and Daniels.
That's
July. True. It's July.
Do we have a July?
Because there's only 7 of us, so there's 12 months.
Wait,
so...
what? Where did the other 5 go? When did this happen?
Nobody knows about the other 5.
Oh,
that's going to start some rumors. That is absolutely going to start some rumors. Nick hanging out in the chat. Nick and I, Nick is now number 1 in the BeatStar world, by the way. So, those who have had either Ian or I in that place in their mind, it's not us. It's not us.
It is not. I've dropped off the map.
It is Nick, 100% now. He is killing it.